I will count us down. All right. All right, Dean, we are live. 3, 2, 1. How are you, Dean?
Good morning, Mel.
Good
How are you this
morning.
morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, and you're looking lovely as usual.
Thank you. And you are as well. You are as well.
Thank you, and welcome, parents. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our third episode of
Third
Math Chats
episode.
for Parents. We're so
Yay.
delighted you've joined us. We are getting started here. We had a little issues with our live, but we are now live, and you
Yeah, we're live.
we're live. And you're with us, and we're glad to have you this morning. We've got a fun episode planned for you this morning. We're going to work some problems. We're going to talk about learning spaces and how you can set
Yes.
it up. And if you've joined us for the first time, or and this is, you heard about it through a friend or relative, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're glad
Yeah.
to have you. Basically, the idea behind our math chats is to really help parents this summer help their children, right, Mel?
That's right. We put together some problem solving and some critical thinking activities to help parents with their kids at home as we prepare to return back to school. Most counties, most districts, most states are saying we're going back in August, and we want to make sure that Michelle and I want to make sure that your kids are on the right road to success when they return.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And we don't want your kids to fall into that slide that we call that
Mhm.
melt, that summer slide.
Exactly.
We know it's easy because it's summer, it's beautiful out, it's warm, and you want to be in the pool and all these thousands of the things you can do. But there are some ways that you can really help your children engage in mathematical thinking, just sort of normally doing stuff around the home and have
Yeah, exactly.
games. And Mel, speaking of games,
Yes,
when
ma'am.
you hear, now this is for you to put your mom hat on, your
Okay.
parent hat on, okay?
Okay.
So when you
Um,
hear the word recreational, what's the first few things that come to mind?
I think PE class. That's the first thing I think of.
Okay,
PE,
all
the
right.
rec center.
And you're a runner, so you would think of that, right? Yeah.
I think of I'm gonna be honest, I think of Mikey and basketball. I think of moving and
Yes.
moving around and doing things. So I think of a rec. That's what I think, rec center, when I think
Right,
of
right. So you think of
um
movement, and think of like going out to the pool, running track, playing
exactly.
basketball,
The
kids outside just having fun.
playground.
Well, you don't think of math.
You definitely don't think of math at all. I don't
Oh,
think of math at all.
oh
It did
my
not pop
goodness.
in my mind at
Right.
all.
But now when you put your teacher hat on,
Yes.
okay, you
Hmm.
take your parent hat off and put your teacher hat on, then of course you think, there are some things that my kids could be doing that we call recreational mathematics, parents.
Yes.
Wow, what about that term?
I know, recreational. I'm going to go to our,
Yes.
there we are.
Recreational mathematics is really just mathematics involving games, involving activities that kids can do, students can do, I mean, adults can do for that matter. In
Yeah.
fact, we're going to share with you a couple of points that adults do. As recreational mathematics. Now, it's not an oxymoron. I know some of you are thinking, well, that's a contradiction in terms. No, it's not. And we're going to share that with you today. Still thinking along the lines of problem solving and
Mhm.
all of that fun stuff. So we are just we're delighted to bring this to you today. And I forgot to start my watch, so we're okay. We're okay. So before we do that, though, Mel, we want to talk a little bit, give parents a few ideas about these learning spaces, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
yeah. So tell them a little bit about this learning spaces.
Sure. Okay. So learning spaces, they are physical or mental locations where you're going to see your kids at their highest potential of learning, optimal level of learning. it's kind of when, and we'll talk about it a little bit more detail, it's when, and I'll speak on behalf of my son, Mikey. There's certain places in the house, there are certain places outside that Mikey just kind of zones in.
Oh,
I don't think I even really recognized it till after I heard a podcast. And this gentleman said there are going to be locations in your house, moods that are set when they are just at their highest level. So
mm,
today we're going to talk about how you can observe or monitor your kids so that you can find out where their optimal level of learning will occur in their minds and in their physical locations.
that's good. That's really good. So yeah, I like that. So we talked about some, we detailed some. So let's share some of those. You mentioned the physical locations.
That's right.
So that could be what, places around the home where kids
Yeah.
just kind of have they go into that learning mode, right?
Yeah. Some kids, you'll find them in their bedrooms with
Mhm.
the cover over their heads. Some sit at their desk. Some parents have put tents in their rooms,
Oh, yes. Mhm.
pillows, music. Even after last night, after we chatted, Michelle, even going inside the house or outside the house. So
Oh,
I've noticed that Mikey, like when he's trying to come down, he's like, "Mom, can I go outside?"
uh-huh.
And I'm like, "Oh, sure." And he just finds a spot. I mean, we have a little slide outside. He'll just find a spot.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I noticed this yesterday when he comes in, he'll give me some type of, you can tell he's been thinking. So he
Oh,
um he jammed his finger yesterday or
oh,
this week, and he
hmm.
came back in and he said, "Mom, I wonder if we freeze some ice and put a hole through it. I wonder if I can stick my finger through it and that'll keep me from having to hold on." But that was after he had been outside to
That
kind
is
of allow his
awesome.
thoughts to surround him to a degree. So
Right.
those are those physical spaces. Yeah.
Awesome. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Go out in the swing and sit. And in that nature, just sometimes being outside inspires
Yeah.
children,
Mhm.
inspires adults even, just to
Yeah.
go, like, that's why, I guess through all of this whole COVID thing, they were saying, get outside and walk, keep your 6 feet apart or keep your distance or whatever, but get outside and walk and, take in the nature and whatnot. And
Yeah.
that's always really, really nice. And then there's sort of a mental learning space, right? Tell us about that.
Exactly. So mental learning space is going to be where your mind can just kind of go. There's no limits to a child's mind. So example, Mikey's outside and his mind has just wandered beyond all boundaries. There's no mom, there's no basketball, there's no Xbox. It's just like he's able to go beyond his mental stops. We have those mental blockages, and he just goes on. You can cause this to occur. They may need a snack, or I
Right.
recently heard something about screen time. This is so important,
Yes,
parents.
definitely.
So I read that um, the screen time that we allow our kids to have during this time of our, quarantine, if they're and it causes a lot of stress. We don't know that, we don't see it, but it causes stress. So when
Right.
they go to school and practice, or on their educational or their academic websites that they've been asked to do from their teachers, that
Right.
same stress happens at school, even in a learning environment. So it's
Wow. So
really
that stress carries over.
exactly the stress moves
Wow.
over to, so it causes those blockages. They become more fixed in their thinking.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure that we pull away our kids away from from those screen times. And some of the things I've been doing is playing music, setting the mood, making the lights, dimming the lights,
Mhm.
allowing them to get to where they can just kind of flow.
There, I like the word you used earlier, the optimal thinking level,
Hmm.
and then they can be relaxed, they can sort of be at peace, and so that there are no boundaries in that thinking,
Yes,
and
exactly.
then that leads to a lot of creativity, right?
Yes, exactly.
This creative space is a wonderful space that we would love. All parents want their kids to be creative. No parent would just admit, "No, I don't want my kid to be creative." No,
Mhm.
you want your child to be creative in
Mhm.
whatever way that they need to be. And one of the I think it was the Kennedy Center had back in March, they featured one of the artists, a longtime artist and author,
Mm.
Mo
I think it's
Willems.
Willems.
Willems, I
Yeah.
think is his, and you can look that up. The Kennedy, he's the he does the doodling. He did lunches with Mo, where he
Mhm.
did art doodling, and a lot of kids passed in things and submitted things that they. But it was a way for them to be creative.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
music generates creativity. Is that
Yeah,
correct? And
that's
we had a
right.
lot of creativity going on with kids chalking on the sidewalks.
Yeah, exactly.
Quarantine, get them outside, chalk on the sidewalk. But I
Hmm.
saw some wonderful designs that were featured on the news and wonderful
Yeah.
artwork that was featured. I thought, oh wow, that's really fantastic. That really involved a lot of mathematics too,
Yeah,
Mel.
it did. Yeah, and you don't even think of math in those type of capacities, but they're there. You
They're there. That's right. I saw a lot of shapes and a lot of dimension, and it was just really, really nice. And you mentioned the other day taking pictures of nature. I thought that
Yeah.
was really good.
Yeah, going outside and taking pictures of nature because we all see things from different perspectives. So going in and taking pictures. One of the things that Michelle and I have done for a long time are vision boards. And so we've created these dream boards, that's really popular right now. Um, these vision boards where you're posting things that, are too
Have
big
a
to
big
even.
poster in your
Yeah.
scrapbooks or whatever, or you might keep
Mhm.
it on your phone or whatever.
Exactly. And allowing your kids to take those pictures and put them on their dream board. And it extends, I think I wrote something out about it. It says it extends their thinking from work to investigation. So you're
Oh,
extending their everyday genius because all of our kids have a genius. It's just being able
yes,
to tap into
yes.
it.
Finding that, I
Um,
love that everyday genius.
yeah,
That is
your
wonderful.
everyday
That's
genius.
wonderful. And that's really sort of the premise behind us bringing you these chats, parents,
Yeah.
is that you can help your child, even in mathematics, find that genius little mathematician,
Mhm.
in them. And it may be in different ways because kids have different ways of learning. We all know that. But one of the things that you've had to do this year is sort of learn your child as a learner, and that's
Exactly.
sometimes different than just knowing your child as a child.
Exactly.
You having to know, like Mel was saying earlier, observing Mikey outside and observing when he's in that thinking mode. Well, you have to do that with all your children. And if you
Mhm.
have multiple children, it may be different for
Yeah.
all your children. So this is one of the reasons we're really trying to bring these little tools and tips and big constructs of mathematics, but bring them to you in such a way that they're friendly, parent
Yeah.
friendly, family friendly, because a lot of the tasks that we have, you can actually do with the entire family.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, we left you all with one last week.
Yes,
That
we
was the calendar.
did.
This is recreational
Yes.
mathematics. We love the.
Super excited about this.
I know. Mel, I love your calendar. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. So, what did we ask the parents to do with their family and with their kids
Sure.
last
So we're looking at the red box, and so we asked I asked our parents to add up the sum of the numbers in the box without adding them up with the calculator or using your fingers. See if you can use some type of mental math or find patterns to help you come up with the solution. So
Right,
yeah.
right. And we're going to focus on the red one, folks. Now we have all of these tasks. Finally, we have all these tasks uploaded on our website.
Yes.
We had a little glitch with GoDaddy. We had to figure it out. So if you have emailed us in the past, I do want to insert this. If you've emailed us in the past and you haven't heard back from us, that's why, because we didn't really get your email. So if you will, you have a question, you have a comment, you tried these tasks out, whatever, hey, just send it to us at mathchatsforparents@gmail.com, or just do it in the contact area
Yeah.
of the website, and we'll get to it. But yes, we had this red one. So Mel, how did you sort of think about this? This is so many different ways to think about this.
Yes, it
This is why we
is.
want your kids to help you with it, because they may look at it totally different than perhaps what you looked at it as. So Mel, what did you find for the red block?
Okay, so I so when I first approached this problem, I was looking for patterns. So
Ah,
I noticed that, the very first line, 2, 3, 4, and then you have 9, 10, 11. You're
mm,
going from, if you're looking at the Tuesday and the Thursday, you're going even, odd, even. In the
right.
middle, you're going odd, even, odd. So I saw a couple different patterns. I saw that you were adding 7 even every time we moved down um,
Yes.
a row or a row, right? Row,
Mhm. Right,
row.
a row. That's good.
Okay. So when I solved it, I just was looking for the sum of each day. And when I solved it, I was like, okay, so I realized that the first Tuesday ended up being 27, the
Mhm.
next one ended up being 30, and the next one ended up being 33. This is my original problem solving.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, okay, so why did it get bigger by 3 every single time? And I realized that going from 2 to 3, there's one, 9 to 10, there's one,
Uh-huh.
16 to 17, there's one, and so on. So that's why I went up 3. So that's kind of was my original thinking.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
that
I
was
like
one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many patterns, and this is the beauty of this calendar math. And there's a whole, I say a whole curriculum, but there's certainly several activities
Yeah.
that I know you all have done perhaps in your classroom where teachers have used calendar math. And this is just one of those tasks that you can do to block off and see what kind of sum you get. Now, what we didn't want you to do was just to add 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 9 plus 10, look for patterns. I like that you shared a pattern last night, Mel, that I had not, I
Yeah.
don't know if I've seen before, but I really like this because it helps you to get to the answer
The
really
answer.
quickly. Uh,
Yeah.
talk,
So I was thinking probably more like a third grader. So this is probably a more of a second grade, third grade skill.
I don't
So
know,
we
that
can.
might, I have some adults who don't, I know some adults who didn't think of that pattern, Mel. So it's a
So
pretty sophisticated way of thinking
yeah.
of it, I
So
think.
what I did was I was thinking in tens. So I
Oh,
counted. So I thought 10. There's a 10 and 10. There's a 10 and 11. There's a 10 and 16, a 10 and 17, and a 10 and 18. And if you don't know what I mean the one in the numbers, right? If I'm
yeah,
decomposing the
the
numbers.
tens
So,
plus 6 makes
mm-hmm,
16, so you
mm-hmm.
got a 10, right, that's
Exactly. So I said 10, so that right there would equal 50. So I'm talking about here. So these
it.
are all tens. And then I looked at, oh, there's a 6 and a 4, which equals 10. Eight
That's
and
60,
two, equals 10 right here. So eight, this eight
70,
one. And then the 7 and 3
that's 80,
equals 10. And where was my last 10? So I've used
9
uh
and 1, 9
nine
and 1.
and one,
Yeah,
or
that makes what?
that would
90.
make 90. And so the answer ended up being
Wow.
90. Yeah.
I love
So,
that. I love that
yeah.
because I had never thought about it that way. And then even as we were talking, there was another way we I think there was
Yeah.
another way we thought about it. Then
Uh-huh.
we looked at 16 and 4. If you look diagonally and take the ends, you got 16 and 4, that's 20. You got
Mm-hmm.
18 and 2, that's 20. So that's now
Yes.
40. You got 17 and 3, that's
That's
60, right?
uh-huh.
20, 40, 60.
Yes.
And then you've got 9 and 11, that's another 20, that's
Mm-hmm.
80. And then you
Yeah.
have the 10 in the middle. Oh my goodness.
Love it.
We've looked at 3 different patterns. And of
Oh
course,
my gosh, I love it.
I know it is. It's so much fun. So the sum actually is 90. But how does that 90 relate to the 10 in the middle?
Yes.
It's really what? It's 9 times that 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's 9 times that 10. And so the beauty of it is, and you can do, if for older kids, parents, they would probably look at it maybe like an algebra. If you have a high school student and you ask them to look at the red block, figure it out, they might say, okay, because I've had college students to solve it this way. They said, well, okay, I know if my first day is X, right? Now I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to explain this, and I know it's a little different, but then I'm adding the ninth then becomes X plus 7. The 16th becomes that same X plus 14. And so you can do that. The third, the day 3 will become X plus 1, and then X plus 8, and then X plus 15. You can add it that way, and you get 9X plus some value. I forget what the value is, but it turns out to be, by the time you sort that out, it would turn out to be 9 times 10. We've solved that out. What would we get? I forget what the 9, it was 9 times X, plus by the time we add all of that. But I really like your strategy,
Oh,
Mel, because it's just
thanks.
easy to figure it out. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, looking at the 20s or looking at the 10s.
Yeah,
And but you can solve it algebraically. And when you do get solve it algebraically, I think you get 9x plus 90. That's what it is.
yeah,
9x
I
plus
think so.
90. And or no, was it 9x plus 90? I'm trying to think. 9 times 10. Well, I have to check that. But you can add each one of your dates and get your 9 times. What is that quantity? Oh my goodness, I should have written it down. But I'll have to add that back up in my head again so that you are getting a value of 9 times your middle cell.
Yeah.
And we wanted you to do, we don't want to spend too much more time on this one, but we wanted you to do the blue block and
Mm-hmm.
see if that pattern would work the same, right? Because if you work this blue block, you would also still get 9
Mm-hmm.
times the 19.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Work the green block, you would get 9 times the 15. So your sum would look like, say, 90 plus 45, I think 135 for the green block. And it would look like 9 times 19, which would be 90 plus 81, would be something like 171. I'm just sort of
Mm-hmm.
adding in my head, but something like that. But the beauty of it is there's so many different patterns, so many
Yeah.
different patterns. This is recreational mathematics. You say, well,
Yeah.
I don't find much recreation in it, but it's the beauty of it. It's doing mathematics freely without thinking about, oh, okay, I got to get one right answer kind of.
Yes.
And we had another one too that we didn't get to talk about last week. We got a few minutes we can talk about the what's up next.
That was, oh, let me move this out of the way. I moved it. Let me move it back.
Oh,
There we go.
that looks good.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
It's Ken.
Oh my goodness, Ken. I like Ken puzzles. Now,
Yes.
I have to tell you, my first experience with Ken was while I was on a flight. And this is recreational mathematics because you know when you're flying and you pull the little magazines in front of you, in the seat in front of you,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you remember that. And so in the back, you'll see what? A crossword puzzle. You'll
Mm-hmm.
see, what's the other game that's so popular?
Yeah. Sudoku.
Sudoku. Oh, very
Mhm.
popular. Well,
Yeah.
one time I was flipping in the pages and I saw this game called Ken. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. It was a 4x4, but we're starting here, parents, with a 3x3 because we want to kind of teach you how to play it real quickly. And but it's on the same notion as I'm sorry, as Sudoku.
Mm-hmm.
So where you have to get if it's a 3x3, you have to use the numbers 1, 2, 3 in every row and in every column.
Yes.
You only have
Mm-hmm.
it once in every row and every column. But the difference here with Ken is that you see these cages that are bolded off,
One,
and
one.
they have to, the two numbers that you put in that cage have to add up to the number that's the target number that's given there. So
Yes.
like in the cage with 3 plus,
Mm-hmm.
Mel, if you can circle that, so, or you know,
Yeah.
maybe scroll
Yeah.
around that one.
Yep.
That would be whatever two numbers you put there, it has to add to 3. And
Yes.
it's not concerned about the order right now, but it has to add to 3. Two numbers that you put up in the top cage have to use subtraction, but it has to give you 2. That's the
Yes.
target number. Now, if you have one single number with no operation next to it, like down there in
Mm-hmm.
the
Like here's
bottom,
the 3. Yeah.
that's what we call a freebie. Parents,
Yeah.
that's a freebie. So you could actually, that would be a free one. So if we can we put 3 there, Mel?
Yeah.
The
Absolutely. Let's
free,
put a 3 here.
I know we're doing this live, folks. So there's no
There we
telling what
go.
will.
There's a 3.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yay.
That's a 3. So parents,
Okay.
what we're saying is that you only have the option to put 1 and 2 in
Mhm.
the top 2 columns. And
Yes.
so, and then right, in the column, you only have a 1 or 2 that can go there, or a 1 and 2 that can go along this row. So
Yeah.
Mel, what did we end up? We solved this, I solved this last week, so, but I don't remember what it was. We know 2 divided by 1,
It. Mm-hmm.
2. So do we put 2
Let's
there or
try
1?
2. Let's try
Let's try
2.
2.
Okay.
And
That
then we
means
know
this will
1
be,
has to go there.
yes.
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
good. And so then if 1 is down there in the right-hand corner, we know either this has to be 3 and what? 3 and
3
2.
and 2.
Yeah, so let's try 2.
Let's try 2 here. Okay.
And so we
And
know
then
in the
this will be
top
a
there will be 3.
3. Yep.
Okay, good. And then we know, we hope this works out. If not, we're gonna have to erase and start over again. So then we've got, because it's problem solving, right? It's problem solving. All right, so we got a few more minutes here. And so what do we have here? We have 2.
2 minus, so we could say, we know it has to be either a 1 or a 2.
Right,
So we
because
could
we got
either
2. It has to be, we have 2 down here. So let's put the 1 to the right and that put that,
Okay.
make that 2.
Yeah. So make
1
this one a
there,
2.
2 there.
So this will
Okay.
make this one a 3.
Uh-oh, I think we messed up.
Yep.
Because now this has to add to 3. And see, this is why it's problem solving, because 3 plus what is 3?
3.
Well,
So
0. And we don't have the option of putting 0 in. So now we've got to put, maybe then 1 goes here and 2 goes there.
so maybe let's try so we're gonna put a,
let's try
a
1 there.
and we'll make
2, yeah, make that 2.
Okay, this one a 2.
Yeah, 2 there.
And then this one, this would
would be what?
This would be, so this would make this a 3, right? This would make this one a 3. So let's make this a 3. Make that one a 3.
So good with this. I would be like, oh my gosh. Okay, and then at the top, we'd have to have a 2.
Yeah, make this one. Oh, let's try again. Make this a 2. Okay. And then this would make this one 3.
Yeah, that would have to be 3 and a 1. Yeah, we'd have to put 3 where the 1 is at the top.
So this one a 3, and this one would be. So let's make, So this will be a 3, and this will be a 1.
Yes.
Would that work?
We got it.
Yeah.
1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3. Yay!
Yay, there we are.
3 minus 1. So in that cage, parents, 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 gives us 3. We got the freebie 3. And then 3 minus 2, again, you're not worried about order of operations or the order in which it comes. You just want the 2 numbers to be able to subtract or add or whatever the operation is giving you to get that target number. It's a really, really fun game. It goes up to, Mel, it goes up to 9 by 9. Can you imagine trying to solve one of these 9 by 9? And I have to say the largest I've solved was a 6 by 6.
Okay. I'm gonna have to practice, because this is, you just introduced it to me and I've done 1 or 2. So we have to get Mikey on them and see how he does on it. I think he would. The
one that was in the airplane magazine was a 4 by 4. Okay. And the 4 by 4s are interesting to start with because you have more variability with the operations. You can go from easy to medium to slight medium to hard. Okay. They're really easier to start with. And you can even download KenKen. Now, we're not trying to advertise KenKen, but it's a wonderful math game to help students with computational reasoning, with problem solving. Yes. So many different strategies. We had to use process of elimination. Yes. We had to use guess and check. Guess and check. Yep. That's trial and error, if you will. So many wonderful problem solving tools, strategies that you apply to this game. And it's math fun. But it's not drudgery. Yeah, exactly. It's really fun. You can, it goes to flexible thinking, because you're jumping back from operation to operation, trying to, like you said, guess and check, and let me move this here. Let me try this. It's just really good. Again, and these are not multiplication. These are not adding and subtracting problems in rows and columns like they used to teach us. So it's really just a lot of fun. A lot of fun, and a great way for your child, even if they're in middle school, even if they're in high school to practice these. And when you get up to the 4x4, once you master the 4x4s, then go to the 5x5s, because the multiplication gets larger.
Yes.
And in the I haven't tried a 9x9, but I have done successfully a 6x6, but that's a math thing.
Yeah.
But try the 4x4, download the app.
Yes, exactly.
There's a free app you can download, parents, and it's much easier because you can race a lot quicker and try different numbers a lot faster.
Yeah. And that's why
oh no, what were you gonna say?
And that way, you can put it on your app so your kids are not on like Xbox like mine. I'm like, get out, it's an way for them to still have that opportunity to do some
recreational math.
Recreational math.
To recreate, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we've got a little time that we're going to explain the 24 game to them.
Yes. Yeah, we can, or we can push it to the next one. What do you think?
Well, we're gonna at least introduce it, because we have downloaded several of these that were free from the website. This is from the 24 game website. And again, these things are free resources that you can use. You can go to our website and download tasks.
Yes.
They're under the heading of tasks, the task page. And there are several of these, but we want to explain these real quickly. This is a wonderful game. It's been around since the 90s, where you have to use all 4 numbers and any of the operations only once. You use these numbers only once. Yes, but you have to use all 4 to get 24. Okay, any of the operations. So you operate either on those given numbers, or you operate on the computed number, right? And you'll see these 1 dots in the edge. On the website, we have some that are $2, and then some that are $3, right? I suggest you start with the $1. Okay. Start with the $1, parents, and then do it with your children, because there's lots of different ways to think about it. So, Mel, just real quick, we did 1 or 2 of these. You want to think about? Let's just do one real fast. Take them out with this, and then we'll hurry on.
Okay, so the goal is to get 24. Yes. So you can use the operations, whatever operation you need to use to try to get 24. So we said 6 plus 6. So if you're looking here, 6 plus 6.
And that's a good point. These are 6. If you see a shaded red, that will be 9. If parents, and you'll see some of this when you download the task, that will be a 9. If it's shaded inside, that means it's a 9. But these are 2 6s, a 1 and a 2. Okay.
Yeah. So you can say 6 plus 6 is 12, right? And then you could say 2 times 1 is 2. So 12 times 2 is 24. So that's would be how you got that answer.
That's a beautiful one. I like, I don't know, I didn't try another one of these. One where we have different numbers here. Let's just see if we could do the one down in the right-hand corner.
Okay.
For the sake of this one, let's see. Oh yeah, I think I see it.
You see it?
Solution, yeah.
Okay.
I see that 1 times 1 is 1. And 5 minus the 1 gives us what?
4.
And 4 times 6 give us 24.
We are like total math people, like,
yes, we got it. And there may be multiple solutions. Solutions, and that's what you look for. I really like writing that math sentence out, and it would kind of look like 6 times, in parentheses, 5 minus 1 times 1, or something like that. We'll have to write some of those out for you next week as we come and bring you more 24 card games. But it's a wonderful tool, again, for computational reasoning, problem solving. If your kid, and they make these with decimals, fractions.
Yes, they do.
Your middle school parents, if your kids are challenged right now with fractions, they need to be on these tasks.
Yes, they do.
It will help them to do it without, like Mel said, doing all of the worksheets and the, because that's drudgery for a lot of kids. They do that sometimes when they get in school. They need a fun, recreational way to do the problem solving. And we've given you several different tasks today. Gosh, we've gone over our time, Mel. What is going on? Gee, we get
so excited.
Yeah. Okay, so what's coming up for next week?
Yeah, so next week, we're gonna work on our what we're gonna tell you, but I will say it'll be about math and problem solving. But please, so join us back here next Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Please join us. Please go on our website. It's www.mathchatsforparents.com and look at the resources that we provided. Pull off some of those resources. Please send us a comment. Let us know if there's something we can help you with. Let us know if you like the activities. Come to our our Facebook group page and join in and send us a few things. Ask us, send us some problems. See if we can solve them for you. You know, send us some pictures of your kids.
and have the whole goal is to help your kids solve some of these. So if you're one of those, I gotta solve this first before I let my kids solve it, that's okay. That's fun. Have fun, you and your spouse, your partner, whomever, y'all can do these real quickly, and then you can share them with kids. Even if they're not your kids, share them with the kids down the street. Hey, I mean, I know, keep your 6 feet apart or whatever, but you can show it to them and still share.
Exactly.
We've had a bunch of fun being with you today, parents. Just enjoying. We're doing this voluntarily, bringing these to you voluntarily because we love math and we love helping our parents help their kids. And that's why you're here, our chatter back and forth, so to speak. Chat back and forth, but we've thank you for joining us today. Share this video with your friends and comment throughout the week. Send us a comment. We'd love to see you next week for episode 4 of Math Chat for Parents.
Bye. Good job. Have a nice